Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Since we are still with the blessed month of Ramadan, I just want to talk about the concept of fasting on the month of Ramadan. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. 183 Surah Al-Baqarah. O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed to you as it has been prescribed to the peoples before you, so you may learn self-restraint. If the Jewish people follow the fasting of Moses, their prophet Moses alayhi salam, they have to fast 40 days. It has been stated in the Old Testament, the second book of the Old Testament, the book of Exodus, chapter 34 and verse 28. The biblical passage goes like this: He was there with his Lord for 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. The same number of fasting has been fasted by Jesus Christ. In the Gospel, in the first canonical Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 4 and verse number 1 up to 2, Jesus Christ had been baptized by John the Baptizer, or baptized, in the river Jordan. And after that, he had been led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry. To us, we, the people of the Quran, people of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what has been prescribed to us is only either 29 days or 30 days. If the moon is sighted this coming Friday, and then we have to fast only 29 days. And of course, fasting, the concept of fasting before was only for mourning or condolence or consolation. But after the revelation of the glorious Quran, the concept of fasting have been made very comprehensive, that it is a physical, a spiritual, psychological, and moral training of the highest order. So it is a training. So this coming Eid Alfitri, this coming ending of the month of Ramadan, as if we have already graduated, we are going to graduate from this 1 month training. So, you who had fasted the whole month of Ramadan, only left is around 1 or 2 days. If you have fasted from the start of Ramadan completely, and you have to be sure that you can complete the month of Ramadan, the whole month of Ramadan in fasting, because you have the reward. You know the reward of fasting to you. This is your path to gaze or to see your Lord, your God in the hereafter. There is a hadith al-Qudsi according to Allah: Kullu amal ibni Adam lahu illa sawm fa innahu li wa ana ajzi bih. Yada'u ta'amahu wa sharabahu wa shahwatahu min ajri. All the services and all the activities of man is for himself, except fasting according to Allah, because fasting is mine. So he is the reward. Why? Because he's abstaining from his food, drink, and the connubial partnership with his wife. And then there is a verse number 22 and 23 in Surah Al-Qiyamah, the glorious Quran. Wujuhu yawma izin nadira ila rabbiha nadira. The face of those people who believe, really believe, are very bright, shining brightly, because they gaze upon their Lord. To you who have fasted, who did not fast, from the start of Ramadan, it is left for you, there is a chance left for you, that is 1 or 2 days. So you have to be very careful. You have to fast these 1 or 2 days left, so that you will not be zero. If your record is zero fasting, and in the hereafter, and then it will be very bad record for you. Another thing here we have to we have to observe is that the ending of this month of Ramadan, there is another obligation for every Muslim. that is the Zakat Alfitr. This fasting on the month of Ramadan is obligatory according to the glorious Quran, as I have recited verse 183. And then this giving of Zakat Al-Fitr is an obligation. It has been obliged by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the wisdom here is to rephrase the poor in the celebration of the festivity of the Eid Al-Fitr side by side with their brother rich. Yes. So you have to, because there are some question. I received some question. For those who did not fast, are they obliged to give Zakat Al-Fitr? Because anyway, according to them, they did not fast. I said, this is another obligation. Fasting is another obligation. So Zakat Al-Fitr is another obligation. If you are zero from fasting, do not be zero also here, because double zero, that is a very bad record for you. Now, because of time element, we have to discuss about how to celebrate the Eid Al-Fitr. I think if we coincide the moon on Friday, that is 22 on May, our celebration of the Eid Al-Fitr will be on the 23rd, on Saturday. And if the moon is not sighted, but is sighted here in our area, and if it is sighted in our neighboring Islam countries like Indonesia and Malaysia, we have to follow them. Yes. Anyway, we have to discuss how to perform the Eid Al-Fitr because of our circumstance now. The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, by which our situation, we are combating a very invisible enemy and very dangerous enemy. So, we have suspended, since the outbreak of this in our area, we have suspended the congregational Friday prayer and the Tarawih prayer. This does not mean that we are deleting some part of Islamic commandment. This is not deleting Salah or the prayer, but we have to change. We have to make a precautious and preventive measure, because taking a preventive measure is also a part of the commandment of the Islamic Sharia. Yes. You know, the same Islamic Sharia and the international humanitarian law are the same. That the very important right of every individual is to survive, right? To care or to preserve his life. Committing suicide is actually prohibited in Islam, because that is your right. You should not deprive yourself of your life, because your life is not your own. It is Allah's amana to you. It is a trust of Allah to you. Regarding this Salatul Fitr, Salatul Eid, Salat Tarawih, it was not deleted, but it was only changed from mosque to our homes, because there is, in order to take a preventive measure, according to our medical scientists, one of these way of preventing this COVID-19 is to stay at home. Yeah. And then, of course, it's already known to us that social distancing. That is why we suspended the congregational prayer in the mosque, because otherwise we cannot observe this social distancing, and then it will be endangering us from the attack of this contagious disease. Now let us come to Salat Eid Al-Fitr. Verse 185 of Surah Al-Baqarah. This is guideline given by the glorious Quran, how to celebrate, how to commemorate this Eid Al-Fitr. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. You have first 3 steps here. First step is you have to complete the number of your service. Let us say you have to complete the number of fasting. And then after completion of the number of fasting, that is the month of Ramadan, and then وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ. You have to glorify the name of Allah. You have to pronounce takbir, that Allah is the greatest, and then عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ, because He had guided you. And the guidance of Allah has been stated by the glorious Quran. Because the glorious Quran, which has been revealed in the month of Ramadan, it has three characteristics according to verse 184 of Surah Al-Baqarah. It says, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. Or the month of Ramadan was the revelation of the Quran. And this Quran is a perfect guidance for mankind, and it is a distinct, detailed, very clear guidance. Furqan. Furqan is our standard, our criterion, by which we can make a distinction between what is halal and what is haram, what is good and what is evil. Now, the performance of Salatul Fitr in the mosque is still suspended. Yes. We suspended the congregational prayer for Salatul Eid Alfitr. Every body has to perform the Salatul Eid in their homes, at their homes, with the family. Yes. And of course, if you are only alone there in your home, no need for you to make khutbah to Eid. Of course, if one family, let us say the father, the mother, and the children, perhaps there is nothing wrong if the father will give khutbah, because khutbah is an advice. After their perform of the salah, 2 rakaat salah, then the father can make advice to his family. Performing the Salat Eid Alfitri, we have to make it very simple only, because there is additional activity here, aside compared to other sunnah prayer. That is takbir. After the takbiratul ihram, and then you have to takbir 7 times. Yes. Allahu Akbar. And then you have to takbir 7 times. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. And then after takbiring 7 times, you have to read the Fatiha, and you can read any verse. There is no specific verse here. Any verse you can memorize. If you can memorize only Qul Huwallahu Ahad, and then yes, that is enough for you. And then after that, you ruku, and then sujood, prostration, and then after that, you come up again, and before reciting the Surah Al-Fatiha, you have to make 5 times takbir again. And then after that, you have to perform the second rak'ah, and after salam, no more. If the family in their houses if the father will give sermon or advice to his family, and that is replacing already the khutbah to Eid. But performing the Eid Alfitri, some are requesting me to give a fatwa that they can perform the Eid Alfitri at a wide place, open field, and then of course I could not agree on it. Why? Because it is very hard for us to control the people by observing social distancing. Yes. Now, let us come to Zakat al-Fitr. What is the amount of Zakat al-Fitr? Yes, I have to answer first the question which I have received just now. Those who did not fast the month of Ramadan, are they required to give the Zakat al-Fitr? And of course, they are required to give Zakat al-Fitr. Because, yes, I have already illustrated that fasting in the month of Ramadan is obligatory, and this is another obligatory. So, even those who did not fast, they have to give Zakat al-Fitr. Even the baby, the newly born baby, before the Eid Alfitri prayer, and then the father is obliged to give Zakat al-Fitri for his newly born baby. How much more for the adult already? Yes. And then we have already decided that the amount of Zakat al-Fitr is 120 pesos. each individual, every individual 120 pesos. Because we are computing the average grade of price. If the good one, very good one, then of course more than that. And the very not so good, and then we are computing the average quality of rice. So most of us are taking this as our food. So 120 each individual. And then this zakat will be given from the rich, given to the poor. I have some question also I have received some question. He said, we are very poor. We have nothing to give zakat al-fitr. So I told him that you are not the one obliged to give the zakat al-fitr, but you are the one recipient of this zakat al-fitr. Because the miskin, the poor, is not obliged to give zakat al-fitr. In fact, he is the one receiving from the rich. Yes. So I think that is enough for this. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.